Good morning, you're watching Sky Sports FC. It was just what the doctor ordered for Liverpool at the weekend, ahead of a potentially treacherous run of fixtures against Real Madrid and Manchester City. Our guest, Tim Sherwood, is still with us. Tim, is it crisis over at Anfield?
What crisis?
There you go. We want you to be part of that discussion. Send us a WhatsApp voice note or a message by scanning that QR code, or use the WhatsApp number 07514 917 075, or on socials, use hashtag Sky Sports FC. Liverpool kicked off a massive week for the club by ending their Premier League losing streak at home to Aston Villa. But captain Virgil van Dijk has hit back at Wayne Rooney, calling his criticism of senior players, including himself, lazy during this difficult spell. Liverpool had lost 6 of their previous 7 games heading into their game against Aston Villa, but a 2-0 win lifted them to 3rd in the Premier League, ahead of their Champions League fixture against Real Madrid tomorrow night, before a trip to Manchester City on Super Sunday. This is what Van Dijk told reporters after the game. "I didn't hear him last year. It doesn't hurt me just to come back to this particular player, obviously a legend, a big player of the game who inspired so many. I can say only positive things, but I feel that comment is just a bit of lazy criticism. It's easy to blame the older players, but he knows as well as anyone else that we do it together and we try to help each other to get out of this. There are so many platforms nowadays and everybody can say whatever they like and it gets blown up." Right, Tim Sherwood's with us until midday. You're a former Premier League winning captain, Tim. Is Van Dijk right to defend himself?
Well, he's right. He can do what he wants. I mean, no one's telling Virgil what to do. We know he's a fantastic player and he has been part of the huge history of Liverpool already in his short time there. But when I said last week, when things are going bad and you've got an influx of new players, new manager largely as well, the new guys, especially the young ones, they're looking up to the leaders, and the leaders are Virgil van Dijk. They are Arne Slot, obviously, even though Virgil's got a load more experience than Arne Slot, and Mo Salah. And they're looking across in the dressing room and they say, lead us. You know, anyone can be a leader when you're winning every single week. It's the leaders who stand up when things are not going well. And that's where you need Virgil van Dijk. And look, it was a good result for them. They're back on track, you know, until the next defeat. I thought it was a poor performance. It was an uncharacteristic poor performance from Aston Villa. Yes, they could have been ahead in the game. But the reason I've criticised the performance is the manner of how they played the game. I mean, Arne Slot has come out publicly and said, we don't like the long balls, we don't like long throws, we don't like teams sitting back against us on a low block. And they just give Liverpool exactly what they wanted. Martinez was playing out from the back more than I've ever seen him. He rolls the ball to Mo Salah to tap it into the net to give him a leg up. And they never played over the top of the press once. It was just incredible the way they went about it. I mean, what has he seen there? I love him. I think he's a wonderful goalkeeper, but you know, a player like Mo Salah, that sort of opportunity, and then that gets the crowd up, then you're up against it. Well, Liverpool, you know, played with a lot more confidence after that. They're used to going behind, especially very early in the game. You get a little bit of fortune there with Gravenberch's deflected shot, but they're back on track. They won't go away, Liverpool. I really believe that they will be there or thereabouts when their players start clicking. He went back to basics. It was as near as the squad what got him won the Premier League.
Only 2 new signings.
Yeah, exactly.
Only 2 new signings.
And if that's the way it's got to be, that's the way it's got to be. To give the guys who have come into the club, the new guys, the opportunity to settle in.
If with Van Dijk, his levels this season, what have you thought of them?
No, he's been below par, and I think he would have to admit that. I look at him as the leader. I think I always call him a Rolls Royce of a footballer. You know, but sometimes he lacks a little bit of urgency. And I think, you know, if you really sprinted back in there and you busted a gut with a few goals recently, I think he would have got there. He seems to play within himself because he is that good. Listen, I would never criticise him too harshly. I mean, the guy he's been a legend for the football club already. I think he's still got a big part to play in their future as well. But like I say, when things are not going well in a dressing room, you do, as players, when I was a young player, I'd look up to the experienced ones, to the leaders. He's wearing the armband. Doesn't matter who wears the armband, you've got leaders within that dressing room. Like recently, I've looked at their squad, and you know, Jordan Henderson, when they're having a bad run, you needed a player like him. to come into that squad, especially when Gravenberch was injured. It's all right in hindsight looking at it. I mean, you would say, and like I would have said, Jordan Henderson finished at that club, go and get a career somewhere else. He's gone abroad, he's come back to Brentford, he's doing wonderful for them. But the reason he's doing wonderful for them as well, he's leading the group. He is a born leader. Before that bad run, I would have think he would have arrested that bad run a little bit before it come on top for him. But it's up to Virgil to step up. It's up to Mo Salah to step up. And they're going to get criticised. That is part and parcel of playing for the champions at one of the biggest clubs in England.
Well, the bad run is certainly over for now. We were just joking there when we said kind of crisis over. But the next game is Real Madrid in the Champions League and then Manchester City away. I mean, it shows how vital it was to get those 3 points on Saturday.
Yeah, but they've got it and now they're bouncing into that Real Madrid game. Be interested with Trent coming back there, it's adding emotion to the game. I fancy him against Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid will. One thing you're not going to get, you're not going to get any low. You got no long throws. You're not going to get any long balls, and you're not going to get a low block. They're going to come out and they're going to play, and they're going to play on the front foot, and they're going to try and beat you. And I think that's exactly what plays into the hands of Liverpool. Of course, they've got wonderful talents all over the pitch, but so have Liverpool.
OK, well, Sky Sports have partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their clubs. You can represent your club. Scan that QR code or visit the Sky Sports app. For more details, we can speak to Liverpool supporter Connor Ray now. Hi, Connor. How big was that win on Saturday?
Yeah, it was massive. I think it was most needed, right? I think even just looking at the table, looking at the where we could have ended up if we'd have lost that game, we're down in I think 11th, and if we win it, we jump up to 3rd. Like, it's so compact, and every point is crucial at this stage of the season. So it's it was a massive result, absolutely.
And what did you make of the starting lineup? Only 2 new signings in it.
I think, I saw a lot about this in the build-up to when the team was announced, and then afterwards as well. With I think it's important to remember Isak, Frimpong and Leone are all injured, right? So there's no chance that they were all going to get in the team. And Kirkes needed taken out of the team as well, based on his recent form, because he hasn't been playing well. And I think Slot's done him a favour there, taking him out of the team. Really, I was glad to see that one. And then I was surprised when the starting lineup was announced and Wirtz wasn't in it. But Slot went back to basics with that midfield, and he got it right in the end. So what do I know?
Connor, you see Virgil's come out and he's criticising Wayne Rooney for the comments he's made. Have you been a little bit disappointed with him this season, with his leadership?
I've been disappointed with his form. I think I said last time I was on with you guys that his poor run of form had coincided with really bad timing in terms of our dip as well in form, and I think that he needed to step that up himself a little bit, and it was unfortunate timing all round. That said, though, I think in terms of leadership, I actually think he's stepped up. I think he's been really, really honest this season about how poor we've been at times. He was the one who called the players' meeting as well, middle of last week as well, that Szoboszlai came out and talked about. So I think as a captain, we don't see what goes on behind closed doors a lot of the time. But he obviously has been taking those steps to try and get the players back up to the level they need to be. And you can see him on the pitch when he's trying to pull people in line as well. He was much better at the weekend, which was a welcome return to form for him, and hopefully he carries that on. Connor,
we're going to try to come back to you in a bit, because we can hear you fine, but you are frozen. And Salah as undroppable.
Yeah, I think Salah proved in that game. We've been asking for Salah to prove in a game for a little while now, for a few weeks now, why he should be undroppable, and thankfully he did in the Villa game. That was comfortably his best performance this season, so that was welcome to see. And I think, as I said before, the camera failed. Sorry about that. The going back to basics for Slot was important. I had Tim talk about it just before with West Ham as well, and how it yielded results for them last night as well. And that's what he did with that midfield, keeping Salah out on the wing and going back to a team that's as close as possible to the team that won the league last season. I was surprised to see Wirtz not starting, but as I say, it worked. So what do I know? That's why Slot's paid the money to manage the team, and I'm not.
Connor, who plays if Wirtz plays? Who would you left out?
I would have left out before the Villa game. I'd have left McAllister out, because I think he's been on a torrid run of form himself lately. He looks he had looked, I should say, before the Villa game, a shadow of the player he was last season. But the Villa performance was massive for him. Again, I thought he really stepped up and was back up to the performance levels that he was showing last season. Absolutely. I think having Wirtz and Salah in the team that's a problem you try and approach when you're winning games, trying to bring them in and get them to play together and all the rest of it. When you're losing games and you've got to stop the rot, I think it's going back to basics. It's shoring up that midfield because they've been getting played through far too easy in the last few weeks. Yeah. And that's what we did, thankfully.
Tim fancies you to beat Real Madrid tomorrow night, but of course it's the return of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, do you agree that, how confident are you going into the game, but also what kind of reaction will Trent get?
I think the reaction will be quite a hostile one. I think there was a lot of debate at the end of last season about whether the fans in the stadium were right or wrong to boo him, given all the kind of fallout around the transfer saga and all the rest of it. I have my own views on that. I think it was fair enough to call him out on that at the time. But then I think the way he left and the final game was much nicer, and that was the right way for everyone in the end of it. I think now he's no longer a Liverpool player. We don't owe him that same respect. I think there's plenty of examples of players coming back to play against their old team, who have had far less impact and far less ties to the club, that have also been roundly booed by the ground, because it's something that can give you the upper hand in a game, and that's what the crowd are there to do, isn't it? So I think you'll get quite a hostile reaction, and I'll be going tomorrow as well, so I'll probably be contributing to that, I've got to be honest. But and I think what Tim said before about the style of play of Real Madrid and City, I think whilst they're two massively difficult games for the club, they couldn't have come at a better time, I think, to be honest. The way that they're not going to play out from the back, as Tim says, they're not going to try and adjust their play to rely on set pieces. They're going to try and play through us. They're going to come out and play football, and that's exactly what we need. That's how we got so many good results last season before teams switched up their style against us. So hopefully, I think it's 2 wins out of 2 for us.
And in terms of, but the Man City one, they are actually quite, believe it or not, quite inconsistent compared to previous seasons. But still, I don't think there'll not be that many of you as confident as you are about that one. I can understand Real Madrid at home and for all the reasons that you've said, but Manchester City away? I mean, that one win at the weekend has really filled you with confidence.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
You shocked me a little bit there. You caught me off guard there when you said you're going to win them both.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, and there is a part of it that is wishful thinking, I'm sure. I'm on a massive high this week. The Villa game was the first game I got to watch with my new little boy. I became a dad for the first time, so maybe it's a bit of that and the lack of sleep that's contributing to my optimism as well. But no, I just think it suits us. I think if we do beat Real Madrid midweek, that's another huge confidence boost. As you say, City are inconsistent, and at the moment as well, I think they're really reliant on Haaland. So as long as Van Dijk can do the job and keep him quiet, which he has done previously against Haaland quite effectively, then if you stop him, then you stop Man City's goals. So I've got every faith, but yeah, maybe that's just me.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Connor.
Yeah, congratulations, mate.
Congratulations. And if you look beyond this, because we were talking about this last week as well, that if you get through Villa, which you have, you've won. Real Madrid, OK, that's a different competition. Manchester City away, then come back for the international break. You've got Forest at home. And this is just in the league, by the way. West Ham away, yes, OK, they won yesterday, but they're still struggling. Sunderland at home, Leeds away, then Brighton at home before you go to Tottenham away. That win against Villa could be the start of a good run if games were to be won on paper.
Yeah, if only games could be won on paper. I think that's you would have looked at that at the start of the season, and you look at that at any point in the season with the team Liverpool have got, and you say that should be, 4 wins out of 4 for title chasing teams. I think the only problem we've got with that is, as we've talked about, we're going to see Forest come and play with a more defensive style of play, especially now with the change of manager and Dyche coming in. We know how he likes to approach games as well. Sean Dyche has frustrated us before as an opposition manager with various teams, and I think that'll be a harder game, potentially, a harder system to beat, although not a harder team to beat than Madrid and City are going to try and approach it, given our current struggles. And the same is then true throughout the rest of those fixtures as well. But I think, coming out of if we come out of this week, as I'm saying we will, with 2 wins out of 2, then I think we go into those games full of confidence.
Connor, I think you will. I said last week you would go 10, 15 games without losing a game. I'm confident that it might be now. I mean, let's face it, mate. Last year the games were harder on paper than they was on the pitch.
Yeah, that's true, especially for Slot as well. Like, Slot's first season as well. Like start of last season, nobody gave this squad much credit. Everybody had us finishing, top 4 or struggling to make top 4. So yeah, I think there was Slot's talked about it himself as well, Tim. Right? He talked about the shift in the style of play that teams had around Christmas when they realised that Liverpool were capable of coming out and blowing teams away if you tried to play football against them. And then we saw in the second half of the season how we struggled a bit more with that low block and those long balls, all the things he's still talking about now.
All right, Connor, best of luck. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.